In the third episode of this season, we embark on an exploration of a city housing the revered tomb of a figure of great importance in Jewish, Christian, and Islamic traditions, the forefather, Abraham. Hebron, positioned roughly 30 kilometers to the south of Jerusalem, boasts a population exceeding 200,000 residents, making it the largest city in the West Bank. Recognized as a bustling commercial hub, Hebron holds the status of a thriving economic capital, contributing significantly to almost a third of the entire West Bank's economy. The name Hebron may have its roots in the Hebrew word Heber, signifying friend, while in Arabic it is called Al-Khalil, which translates to the friend of God, a title ascribed to Abraham. Additionally, the Bible also refers to Hebron as Kiriath Arba, denoting the city of the four. The old city of Hebron has experienced numerous conquests throughout its history, resulting in a diverse architectural landscape featuring styles from the Roman, Islamic, Abbasid, and Ottoman periods, among others. Renowned for its cultural richness and historical significance, is home to one of the world's oldest and most sacred structures, the Tomb of the Patriarchs. This ancient site, revered for its age and sanctity, serves as the final resting place of God's prophet and father of many nations, Abraham. According to the Abrahamic religions, the cave and adjoining field were purchased by Abraham as a burial plot for his wife Sarah some 4,000 years ago. Abraham, when he passed away, was buried there too. Their son Isaac and grandchild Jacob, and their wives Leah and Rebekah, were later buried there as well. While Jewish, Christian, and Islamic traditions agree on many aspects of Abraham's life, such as his status as a prophet and his call to monotheism, the differences in the identity of the intended sacrifice and the subsequent line of descent play a crucial role in shaping different theological perspectives within each religion. In Jewish tradition, Abraham's intended sacrifice is his son Isaac, born to him and his first wife Sarah, the event known as the binding of Isaac. Jews believe that Isaac was the child of promise, through whom God's covenant with Abraham would be fulfilled. Isaac's descendants, through his son Jacob, later named Israel, who became the patriarch of the 12 tribes of Israel, are considered the chosen people. Therefore, the covenantal promises are passed down through the lineage of Isaac. While Christianity views Abraham as an important figure in their faith, and the story of Isaac as the one supposed to be sacrificed, they emphasize a different lineage. Christians believe that the covenant promises made to Abraham were fulfilled through Jesus Christ, whom they see as the ultimate fulfillment of God's promises to all humanity and to those who believe in him. On the other hand, in Islamic tradition, Abraham's intended sacrifice is his first son Ishmael, known as Ismail in Arabic, born to his second wife, Hagar. Abraham, alongside his son Ishmael, is believed to have built the Kaaba in Mecca, which Muslims consider the holiest site in Islam, as a place of worship for the one and only God. According to Islamic belief, Ishmael is considered the ancestor of the Arab people, and his descendants are seen as the direct lineage leading to the final prophet, Muhammad. Abraham's story is a cornerstone of faith and identity for millions of people around the world, symbolizing the monotheism, faith, and obedience to God's will, as well as one of the fundamental differences between the three Abrahamic religions. In certain Jewish mystical traditions, the Tomb of the Patriarchs is believed to house the final resting place of not only Abraham and his family, but also Adam and Eve. Additionally, according to these traditions, The cave of the tomb of the Patriarchs is seen as the gateway to the Garden of Eden. It's worth mentioning that certain Islamic traditions suggest that the tomb of Joseph, or Yusuf in Arabic, son of Jacob and a revered prophet known for his ability to interpret dreams, be located within the cave of the Patriarchs as well, further adding to the religious significance of this site. All of these significances and beliefs have resulted in continuous disagreements and fights for possession of the location, with each party claiming religious and historical rights over it. The first imposing and monumental structure, with a thickness of 2.5 meters and a height of 15 meters, surrounds the sanctuary above the cave. This large wall was built over 2,000 years ago during the reign of King Herod. Later, during the Byzantine period around 570 AD, a church was built, incorporating the Herodian structure into its design. Jews were officially forbidden from living in this holy city at that time. In the early Islamic period, after Muslim Arabs conquered Hebron in the year 638, they converted the church into the Ibrahimi Mosque, and at this stage, Muslim authorities were tolerant of Jewish prayer at the site. In the year 1100, the Crusaders conquered Hebron, expelled all Jews and Muslims, and reconverted the mosque back into a church, naming it the Citadel of Saint Abraham. This continued until the arrival of the Islamic leader Saladin in 1187, who drove out the Crusaders from Hebron and reconverted the church into a mosque once again. Saladin also installed the pulpit of Ascalon, dating back to the Fatimid period, inside the mosque. This wooden pulpit, or minbar in Arabic, is recognized as the oldest Islamic wooden minbar still in use today. Additionally, during his reign, 4 square minarets were added to the mosque, although only 2 of them remain standing today. With the arrival of the Mamluk period in 1250, Hebron gained increased importance, attracting pilgrims and mystics from across the Muslim world. The mosque underwent expansions and renovations to accommodate the large number of visitors while preserving its original features. Additionally, 6 cenotaphs were built within the mosque, richly decorated with green tapestries embroidered with Quranic verses and other pious inscriptions, dedicated to Isaac, Rebekah, Jacob, Leah, Abraham, and Sarah. However, Jews were prohibited from entering the site and were only allowed as close as the 7th step on a staircase at the southeast until 1967, when the Israeli military forces took control of the city and the Ibrahimi Mosque, making it one of the most tense places in the Holy Land, and the primary reason for the city's division into 2 parts. Since the signing of the Hebron Agreement in 1997, the city has been divided into 2 sectors. H1, comprising 80% of the city, and home to approximately 170,000 Palestinians, is under the control of the Palestinian Authority. Meanwhile, H2, which encompasses the historic heart of the city containing the tomb of the Patriarchs, makes up the remaining 20% and inhabited by around 35,000 Palestinians, along with approximately 800 Jewish settlers, is fully controlled by the Israeli military, with an entire brigade dedicated to the protection of Jewish settlers. In order to understand how this all happened, it is necessary to travel not so far into the past. After the occupation of the West Bank began in 1967, Hebron was one of the first places where Jewish settlements were established, violating international law and furthering the colonization of Palestinian land. Some settlers justified the settlements by referencing Hebron's position as a Jewish holy site where Prophet Abraham and his family are buried, while others saw it as a way to respond to the 1929 massacre. A terrible occurrence occurred as tensions escalated over European Jews' desires to establish a Jewish state in Palestine, reinforced by rumors that Jews wanted to seize control of Jerusalem's Temple Mount, sparking outbreaks of violence. More than 60 Jews were killed and many were wounded in the violence that ensued, with numerous houses and synagogues being destroyed in this ancient city. However, even after this horrendous event and the subsequent arrival of Jewish settlers, the streets and the city were not segregated. Then, everything took a drastic turn in 1994. On February 25, 1994, Baruch Goldstein, an American-Israeli physician and extremist armed with an assault rifle, stormed the Ibrahimi Mosque during dawn prayers in the holy month of Ramadan. He opened fire on the worshippers, killing 29 people, some as young as 12, and wounding 125 more before being subdued and killed by the survivors themselves. Protests and rioting erupted across the occupied territories, fueling growing tension and resulting in clashes in which the Israeli army killed around 30 Palestinians and injured hundreds more. Additionally, 9 Israelis lost their lives in the conflict. In response to this massacre and the unrest that followed, the Israeli government punished the victims by closing off roads and blocking the economic lifeline and movement of Palestinian people inside the city. So the segregation of Hebron took place, and the Ibrahimi Mosque was divided into both a mosque and a synagogue by closing some rooms and parts of the mosque that belonged to Muslims and transforming them into special places for Jews, with Muslim access reduced from the entire space to around 40% of the site. The remaining 60% went to Jewish worshippers who entered the site through a different entrance. The Israeli authorities tightened security around the tomb of the Patriarchs, gained full control over it, and prevented the call to prayer from its minarets many times throughout the year. Additionally, the mosque is closed for Muslim worship many times a year, while remaining open exclusively for Jewish worship. Furthermore, many streets were completely closed off to Palestinians, worsening the already difficult living circumstances who lived there. Additional measures, such as the forced closure of Palestinian businesses and shops in the area, with an accent on Shuhada Street, meaning Martyrs Street, which was lined with small shops whose owners usually lived upstairs, used to be among the busiest markets in this ancient city. After its complete closure, the area became virtually a ghost town, and it was nicknamed Apartheid Street by Palestinians, while Israeli settlers refer to it as King David Street. Additional measures, such as the installation of surveillance cameras and electronic barriers, the establishment of Israeli military checkpoints, and the requirement for registration to receive special permission to pass through them in the city center, have made daily life extremely difficult for the Palestinian population. Aside from being home to the tomb of the Patriarchs, Hebron is famous for its long-standing tradition of glass and ceramic production, which has defined the city's cultural character and economic landscape over generations. The origin of glass production is believed to date back over 1,000 years, with its roots extending to Roman rule in Palestine, while some theories trace its origins to the ancient Phoenician glass industry. Although pinpointing the exact beginnings is challenging, historical evidence indicates that the expansion of glass making in Hebron likely occurred during the early Islamic period, around the 7th century AD. In the present day, the art of glass blowing in Hebron is preserved by just 3 family-operated factories, each carefully transmitting its production techniques from one generation to the next. Traditionally, the raw materials were gathered from nature. Sand, which was a major component, was brought from the area of Bani Nuaim, a village close to Hebron. Sodium carbonate was brought from the Dead Sea, while coloring materials were derived from metal oxides, including iron, copper, and others. In contemporary times, the primary raw material, once sand, has been replaced with broken or discarded glass. Heated within an earthenware furnace to temperatures soaring over 1500 degrees Celsius, melting into a viscous paste essential for shaping glass objects, perpetuating the age-old tradition with sustainable practices. A skilled glass blower, using a long blowing metal pipe, gathers the molten glass from the furnace. By blowing air into the pipe and manipulating the glass with tools such as camasha, the glass blower shapes the molten material into the desired form. The glass is prepared for further refinement, and artisans have the liberty to incorporate decorative elements or intricate details onto the glass object. These enhancements may encompass various techniques, such as etching, painting, or the meticulous application of colored glass inlays. Once the glass pieces are adorned with these artistic embellishments, they become finished, one-of-a-kind products. These unique creations are then made available for purchase, either within the local markets of Hebron or exported to markets worldwide. In addition to glass production, the remaining factories in Hebron have diversified their offerings by including ceramic and pottery production. The process of crafting ceramics begins with the meticulous molding of each item from clay, a skill honed over generations within family-owned businesses. After shaping, the clay items undergo a 2-day drying period to ensure optimal consistency. Following this, artisans apply intricate designs through painting and glazing, infusing each piece with unique character and beauty. Artisans remain dedicated to the traditional methods passed down by their ancestors, ensuring that each ceramic piece embodies the rich heritage and artistry of Hebron's esteemed craftsmen. Once finished, the elegantly designed vases, plates, and cups are delicately placed on the shelves of the shop, eagerly awaiting the appreciation of discerning tourists and potential buyers. Hebron's glass and ceramics factories offer a diverse range of souvenir products designed to encompass a variety of tastes, serve both practical and decorative functions. Beyond their utility as household items, they hold sentimental value as cherished keepsakes, reflecting the rich cultural heritage of Palestine and the remarkable artistry of its craftsmen. Hebron, with its rich tradition of beautiful handicrafts and revered status as a sacred site for Jews, Christians and Muslims, symbolizes the essence of monotheistic faith. However, this significance also underlies the city's division, marked by segregation and ongoing conflicts in the Holy Land. Despite these challenges, Hebron remains a city of great importance as the resting place of Abraham, the father of many nations, from which his legacy and that of his descendants spread throughout the world.